Hey, everybody. In addition to accessing our alternate Sunday episodes as well as the Thursday sessions as soon as they are released by subbing to our Black Kluge tier on Patreon, we're also pleased to announce that individual episodes will be available for purchase going forward at a cost of $3 per episode.
This Travolta story is like the most wonderful, loving story ever. To say to someone, you've done it already, that's a pretty profound thought.
And everything's taken care of. So
Nice. That's thoughtful. So you
thought this was something you should do?
yeah, because I didn't want my son to have to go through it, and I didn't want Stephanie to go through it.
Can I say something? That is the most loving thing you could do. And says, we got to work on your act. He kicks everyone out of the room and says, there are certain things you could be doing. He goes, your jokes are good, but I want to talk to you about owning the stage, your presentation. That is such a loving thing. What a hustle. It really is. And the other thing that I say, it's a romance between you two guys, because the fact that you had an agent before Matt, and then you said to Matt, hey, Matt, I got an agent. Why don't you go talk to him? I want to share him with you. I got to tell you, you might not think that's a big deal. I think that's a big deal. I would be like, fuck Matt Damon. I do not want to. He's pretty good. I don't want to share my agent with him. I want my agent focused on me. I need some separation from this guy. That is the most loving thing you could do for another human being, to say, hey.
Really is.
And when I think about your early life, I thought that you would be the guy who would be filled with anger and resentment because you lost your mother at 14. I always say this, how are you so kind and loving and not bitter about that experience? I'm a father of 3 daughters. And when my babies were born, I love these, you look at them and I get the chills thinking about how exciting it is, and they're learning and they're growing, and then they start to walk, and you're so in love with your child.
What I'm saying is the fact that you were too busy for the kids and other things was not.
I wasn't too busy for the kids. I spent lots of time with my kids, but when I needed to.
I mean, that's when you wanted to.
Right.
And what happened?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
Well,
say.
our relationship as a couple fizzled.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
It happened from, it's just like the same, you've gone out with guys that, you're the boyfriend before Mr. X, where things for some reason go sour.
Yeah, it's because you're not there.
I know. Emily called me. She goes, Dad, I talked to the New York Post, and I don't know what happened to this article.
Right.
And I said, I go, it's all right. I read it. She goes, the headline was that my daughter's afraid to date. Meanwhile, she was just in a relationship. I don't know what. I said, what's that about? She goes, I don't even know. So
How did they
we were
get
kinda
that?
I don't know. But my daughter is fantastic. My 3 daughters are fucking amazing. And I'm very blessed. I have such a great relationship with them. And I really do. And
Welcome, everybody, back to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm QF. I'm Fillmore, your host, aka Jim Fix. How egotistical. And with me for part 11 of Quivers and Arsehole is Lady K, aka Kayla. How are you, my dear?
I am good.
Great
How
to
are
have you
you?
back.
I keep laughing.
This is the funny
I'm
part. Like,
QF.
I messaged her about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, and then I told her, listen to this, and it sounded like skulls being drilled through, like that present, and because it's a couple floors down there, refitting an apartment for somebody, and they had to put the bracket in for aircon and whatever, maybe counter spaces, who knows, like that. And then I said, I'll see what we can do, but I'll mute myself as best as I can. So guys, if you hear some ambient noise, it's not me farting. It's not, whatever, either of us doing mixing like cookie dough or something. It's background noise. I'll do what I can, but otherwise you're going to have to deal with it for today, because I didn't want to ruin a perfectly good session, especially when Kayla hasn't recorded for a couple weeks now. And it's been since March since we covered this.
Oh my goodness, it's been that long?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So I knew we had to go back to this. And this is one of the best chapters, guys, because it's all about Howard leaving for New York and leaving Fred and Robin behind. Where if you're following on your books, page 158, second paragraph, guys, would you like to read the the paragraph in question?
Petey was a local Washington TV personality with his own public affairs show. I had no idea why it was called public affairs because Petey, a black ex-con, just sat in a papasan chair spewing his own wacky brand of politics. Howard had discovered him channel surfing one weekend and hadn't stopped talking about how outrageous he was because he managed to work the words N-word and can we say this word? I
Yeah, sure.
don't
Why not?
know. Can we say cracker? I don't know if
Well,
that's
I mean, do you
acceptable or not.
do you go, listen, can you get some Ritz C words?
I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
Can
There
I
you go.
get some saltine C words?
There you go.
Into every sentence. I found a way to contact Petey's people and arranged for a phone call from him on the day of the birthday show. Whatever Petey's reaction to Howard, I figured there'd be fireworks on the air. Now only one question remained: how to spring the trap.
Excellent. That Tuesday morning of his birthday, Howard started the show as usual, greeting the audience and previewing what was on tap for that day. The projected highlight would be the arrival of the think tank at about 7 o'clock. Howard, of course, had no idea that they were already there, stashed in a back office along with Allison until the surprise was sprung at 8. So this was a birthday, the whole thing was a birthday thing, if you recall from the last episode, guys. And we played Petey Green footage in the last one, no video. I mean, we did use video, but I didn't render it because it wasn't really necessary for the full episode. I'll never do that, but you could find it online. And so this is the part I found funny. They never, after this, she had to announce like she couldn't surprise him with she could surprise him with things, but she couldn't surprise him with doing playing a prank like this, like don't bring people, hide them. All of a sudden he's going to go nuts, because he probably went nuts even though she's not admitting it, because he's never been surprised about anything. Remember, I prank, no one else pranks.
Yep, he does not like to not know what's going on.
No. So okay, the unwitting guest of honor started worrying at 7 sharp. The think tank loved being a part of the show and were never late. Howard couldn't believe all 3 of them would choose the same day to screw up. He immediately jumped to the conclusion that something terrible must have happened. Where do you think they could be? He agonized every time I came into the studio to do the news. I just shrug and tell him I had no idea. He even went to an outside window and looked out at busy Connecticut Avenue to see if he could see them. Should we call someone? He asked me on my next trip in. I suggested that we wait just a little longer. By 8, Howard was positive that they were all under a bus. He was so worried I began to feel sorry for him, but managed to hold out, knowing his torture was almost over. Want to continue?
The next time Howard opened the microphone, we all came bursting into the room in party hats, blowing noisemakers. The birthday boy was clearly surprised and incredibly relieved to see that the missing persons in one piece. What?
Yep.
Is that right? Okay.
He immediately to see the missing persons in one piece. Yep.
Okay. He immediately loved the idea that I had played a practical joke on him, and he was thrilled that Allison was there. Lie and lie.
Yep.
Show truly took on a party atmosphere, and my Petey Green brainstorm paid off too. It was a highlight, and even got Howard an invitation to appear on Petey's show, which he accepted, appearing in blackface and wearing an afro wig.
Do you notice she doesn't? That's as far as she goes. She doesn't talk about the appearance. She only mentions that he went on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think she realizes it was a like a shit appearance?
She has to. She has to realize it was awful. And I also wonder if Howard was like, "Don't be talking about that episode. Like, don't bring that up."
Well, he could probably say you can mention it, but but just don't talk about it. Like, don't discuss it. Was
right.
The details of it, because number one, he was in blackface, and number two, because this was I'm gonna say a year later after the infamous Whoopi and Ted Danson Friars Club fracas that I think it was Montel Jordan. Montel. Yeah,
This is how we do.
No, sorry, Montel Wilson. What's his name? What was his name? Hold on, let me see if I got that right. Montel Williams.
Montel Williams.
Oh my God, Montel Jordan. Fuck, I'm getting my Montel. Look, there's only so many Montels, guys. I was going to get it eventually. Montel Williams went to the press after he had attended, and this was a joke. The Whoopi blackface thing was she created the bit for Ted. He's not a comedian, and they were dating at the time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, but they didn't like. No one understood this, but they presumed. And she wrote the jokes for him and all that stuff, and she gave the media shit. She gave Montel Williams shit as well. It's like she figured he was doing some kind of like just a press blitz to self-aggrandize himself, to say like, oh, I was offended and I was all this stuff. Meanwhile, you're at the fucking Friars Club. Nobody talks about the Friars Club outside of the Friars Club. It's like Fight Club. And so it was like one of these things that in 1995, Howard would have been very cognizant of, no, maybe we can't really do this anymore.
Yeah, I wonder though. Was that the last time he did that?
Blackface.
It was. Yeah.
Howard would have been, making fun of that. After that, I don't think he even got close to it.
Okay. I wondered.
He left that for Jimmy Kimmel. So, so let's see. The show, this continues, guys. So shortly after the birthday show, Howard and I celebrated another milestone. In February, we congratulated each other on our 1-year anniversary at DC 101. Neither of us had ever been at one station that long since we'd gotten into radio. How much longer we'd be together was another story. We really should have been living on top of the world. So here's Howard fucks his coworkers, the first bit of audio.
I really thought the restlessness and unhappiness of my past were gone. But just when you think you've got all the bases covered, someone steps up to the plate and smacks a line drive right into the hole in center field.
Not in the book.
By this time, we had the #2 radio show in town, yet we were still collecting losers' wages. Howard had entered into negotiations with Goff LaBar, the station manager from hell, and because of the level of tension between them, I could tell that the discussions weren't going well. Finally, he told me that he and Goff hadn't been able to come to terms and that he was looking at other offers. In fact, Jerry Nachman, the general manager from the all-new station who had praised me so lavishly, turned out to be the batter who would hit that ball into that center field hole. He wanted us to come to work for him, but the next thing we knew, Howard was no longer talking to Jerry, who understood and loved the show. He was talking to the NBC brass in New York.
There's a fuck up here because she suddenly goes into this baseball analogy here, like that where she just mentioned he turned out to be the batter, but it's not in the book. The previous part where she starts, I thought we'd hit a line drive across that stuff she added in the audio, but it's not in the book. So I think she realized, or somebody realized, oop, we fucked up.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. Her and her dumb analogies she puts in here.
Yep.
These titans of broadcasting saw Howard in the #1 market in America, New York, at their flagship station, WNBC. Howard was ecstatic. He had always dreamed of working in his hometown. Right from the start, Howard wanted Fred and me to be a part of the negotiation. The smooth-talking NBC radio execs assured him that they'd meet with his people as soon as they'd settled with him, and that's just what they did. After Howard had signed on the dotted line, they flew into Washington to talk to Fred and me. The day of the meeting...
Okay, first question. Do you believe he went in there saying, it's me, Fred, and Robin? I don't believe for a second he gave a fuck about them.
No way. I don't think he gave a shit either. He was, no way. Mm-mm.
And it's not like when you're buying, because in those days, anyway, specifically, when you're getting the person, it was not considered, we're buying a team, because unless you were famous as a team, and they would have been listening to him most of the time, not her. So he's the primary. Right. And the idea would have been, well, we're not hiring a sound effects person and another person. We're just plugging a DJ in from somewhere else, taking that person, the main person. What do we need these other people for? I don't blame them if that's what they thought.
No, I don't either, because it's not like they were Opie and Anthony. Like, that's a duo.
Mark
right?
And
like
Brian.
You're going to hire both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But Robin was a sidekick, and Fred, I mean, I don't even remember at that time how big he was, like on air, outside of sound effects. I mean,
and bits.
So I don't
like doing voices or whatever. But if you're doing a voice, well, okay, you're an extra still.
Right. And so I agree. So, and even if they were a team, like just say they were the trio of whatever, he still would have gone on his own. He wouldn't have pitched a fit to have them come. He's not give a shit.
No,
Mm-mm.
certainly. Like he's not going to go. Look, they come with me, or it's not. It's off the table.
Right. Exactly.
Like like it does it. Does he strike you as the kind of person? First, and the other thing is, and this is, I'll give Howard the full credit for this because number one, he was too stupid to realize he did need these people to make the show happen. At the time, I would presume that he just if you haven't worked with these people for that long, maybe you think you don't need them. Maybe this is
Hmm.
just well, look, it's just me. I'm going. I don't have the clout to say no yet. Eventually, I will.
Unless, do you think, here's the opposite.
Go ahead.
Do you think he did ask for them because he was too nervous to go by himself? Like he knew he couldn't carry a show alone. Like, do you think he would have asked for them to come out of comfort
That's the
for
thing.
himself?
Like later on, he goes to the Arsenio show and he needs Bowie to come with him, right? Like as
Hmm.
to carry to hold his blankie for him and rub his ass when he's feeling like a boo boo. Um, I don't know at that time. I don't think he knew at the time how
Yeah.
much he needed Robin's laugh. I'd say it was Ben Stern, and Benjamin said this himself on previous episodes. Ben Stern realized what a good foil Robin was on the show, but Howard didn't.
Mm,
He
that's
needed a laugh
interesting.
track, which, normally you would just press a button and right? This was something that he could bounce off of, but I still don't think he understood. The same way he didn't understand, look, just put isolated cameras in the studio, film it, and then we'll edit it later and there's a show.
Hmm. Yeah, so maybe it was just too new that
Yeah,
he hadn't gotten that comfort level with them yet. Yeah.
probably not. Let's see what's more audio here.
Fred, Howard, his lawyers, and I were all ushered into a big boardroom at the NBC offices in D.C. to meet the general manager, Dom Fioravanti, and program director, Kevin Matheny. The meeting ended with everyone smiling false smiles and shaking hands. Then Fred, Howard, and I walked out together.
Okay, now that's at the bottom of the page, but before that, between there, I'm going to read some of this here. Okay, the day of the meeting, Fred, Howard, and his lawyers and I were all ushered into a big boardroom complete with one of those huge mahogany tables at the NBC offices in D.C. Um, that's okay. So there, the place simply reeked of money and power. We were the first to arrive, but soon the door opened, and a tan, balding, but very distinguished-looking man with a smile like the captain of the Love Boat oozed into the room. When he saw Howard rising from his chair to greet him, he flashed his $10,000 smile, pinched Howard on the cheek, hugged him, and exclaimed, "Hey, baby!" So that's Dom Fioravanti. Um, it says the next paragraph. Can you continue from "He was bald too"?
He was bald too, but he was much younger than Dom and not nearly as distinguished.
That's Kevin
Little
Matheny,
beads,
guys. Sorry. Yeah.
little beads of perspiration glistened on Kevin's shiny bald what? Pate?
Pate.
Pate?
Yep.
Pate? I've
Yeah.
never heard that.
Yeah.
But he did his best to imitate Dom's schmoozy attitude. I was trying hard not to prejudge them, even though they were acting just like characters from a bad B movie. But once they started to talk, my stomach turned.
Yeah. Dom and Kevin were essentially saying that they'd listened to us from their hotel rooms that morning and found us entertaining, but that nothing like our show was ever going to be heard on the air in New York. The only question they had for Fred and me was, "What will you do if we don't take you?" I mean, at this point, I was
What?
feeling pretty silly about having gone out and bought a new outfit just for this meeting. Stunned, I mumbled something about having worked before, so I'll probably work again. And Fred, in the same state as me, basically answered that he didn't know. So, like, so that's isn't that like not just foreshadowing? That's giving away the plot. We're
No,
we're not taking you. Like, what the hell are you gonna do?
yeah.
That's I mean, that is a pretty assholish thing to say, but at the same time, the writing's on the wall, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. They did those weird power interviews back then, so I don't know if that was some psychological thing they, learned at JP Powers seminar or whatever they did back then.
So
Um,
would the move have been to do that so that they say, please hire us, and then they can get them
right.
for losers' wages kind of thing?
That's what I'm thinking. Like it was, so what are you going to do if you don't take this job? It's like putting some kind of weird pressure on them to answer the proper way.
Or like
Like,
Artie's cop buddies saying, you gonna take care of the kid?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a weird thing to say.
I mean, like maybe she made that up. Maybe they never said that. That's keep in mind we're
Yeah,
talking to a master liar here. Well, not a master liar. A
true.
master liar would lie without you knowing it. But um, we'll play the rest of this, the 30 seconds of this clip, guys. There's only a little bit left.
Fred was the first to speak once we were alone. "What a pair of barracudas," he remarked. "Yeah," I chimed in, "real sharks." Howard felt awful that the meeting had gone so badly and swore that he was going to get Dom and Kevin on the phone as soon as possible to straighten out the whole mess.
Now, before that happens, why don't you read the top of the page 161?
No, you guys are all wrong, Howard assured us. You just don't understand. The meeting notwithstanding, Howard kept insisting that Dom and Kevin loved the show, and we kept trying to convince him that he was wrong. Didn't you hear them say that the show was never going to be heard in New York? I demanded. But Howard dismissed that as a negotiating tactic. There was just no getting through to him, and what would have been the use? He had already signed a contract to work for them. So I just gave in, saying, "Okay, whatever you say." Then we split up and went home, but within minutes of getting in the door, my phone rang. It was Howard calling a meeting with Fred and me at our favorite Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, over delectable dishes that went largely ignored. I find that hard to believe given her history. We talked and talked. So then that audio continues.
He was still sure everything would be okay, but that wouldn't be the case. Dom and Kevin stopped returning his calls. When word hit the street that Howard was going to New York, one of the first questions asked was, "What about Robin and Fred?"
I doubt
Howard
it.
dodged that one as much as possible because none of us was sure of the answer.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe for a hot minute that that was one of the big questions. That was your question. You didn't know.
Right, exactly. And she's putting it in there that they were so important at that time, which I don't know. I wasn't there, but I would imagine not.
And the next paragraph is just about, it says, a few weeks before the NBC deal was announced, we'd also get a taste of what it was like to be raked over the coals by a national news magazine. A producer from NBC News approached Howard about doing a story on the show, swearing that it would be positive. We cooperated fully, even allowing them to tape us doing a live remote broadcast from a local DC club. Imagine our surprise the night of the broadcast when Douglas Kiker, who we had never met, opened the piece by warning parents to get their children to stay away from the set. Get their children away from the set before he continued this segment on Howard Stern and, quote, barnyard radio. The piece aired just after the announcement that Howard was going to WNBC in New York, and we've always wondered just how much of it had to do with what happened later. And but that makes no sense. If that piece was designed as a hit piece for the whole show, but and they know Howard's going, why are you tanking your own show?
Yeah.
It sounds to me like that's something they would air, even NBC would air after, after Howard's been hired and, this person has heard this show. Like that person in New York has not, I doubt, has heard a fucking Washington show. Where are they going to catch it?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to understand like what she's even saying here, like what she's getting at, because it
Right.
doesn't make any sense.
And what
Yeah.
it's going to impair her and Fred's chances of getting work at New York at WNBC. That makes no sense to me. That's
No, it
it's
doesn't.
thrown in there, but I think it's incorrectly placed. It's got to be somewhere else, like after they're all in New York or after Howard's in New York at least.
I would think so. Or she's trying to set up some kind of story that's gonna
I
tie
think
back
so.
to this.
Yeah. So the next one is It's All About Him, Ed.
Meanwhile, back at DC 101, Goff made no secret of resenting Howard's good fortune and called me into his office. I could honestly tell him that I wasn't talking to anyone at NBC. Goff asked me what it would take to keep me. I told him I'd get back to him. Immediately after leaving Goff's office, I called Howard's attorneys, who were functioning as my silent coaches, and asked for their advice, then went back to Goff and demanded $100,000. Okay, he responded. Okay, this was not part of the game plan. As a stalling tactic, I'd quoted him what the lawyers and I had decided was an outrageous price. Goff put a 5-year deal on the table that would pay me $75,000 the first 2 years and the full $100,000 each of the last 3. This did not improve my situation at all. Howard was still trying to talk some sense into the people at NBC, and when I told Howard about Goff's offer, he was bewildered. Robin, Howard began, I was hoping to be able to make the whole New York deal happen, but I can't tell you to turn down that kind of money. So I should take it, I asked with a sinking heart. Yeah, he told me with obvious regret. I guess you have to.
Okay, so that was that. So that's like huge money. If I go into, let me just go into the historical currency converter. So inflation calculator. There we go. I think this is the one I normally use. Yep. Okay. So 450,000, right, over 5 years, with like 300 times 3, and then 2 years of 75,000. So the year was 1982, I believe. 82, and let's go with the dollar amount. 450,000. Calculate. 1.5 million, over 1.5 million dollars
That's a lot of money.
divided by 5. So 3 million a year. Sorry, 300,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's good.
In today's market, sounds good to me.
I know, and it's I'm
For a
wondering,
newsreader on the radio.
right? What was the question? Like, how could she even think about not taking it? Do you
Well,
think they wouldn't have given her that in New York had she gone? You think?
I don't believe so. No. Let's say okay, it says there's some bits that are missing here. I even let him, meaning Goff, think that Howard hadn't deliberately double crossed me. I wonder why that's not in there. I wasn't ready yet to burn my bridges. Goff was anxious to make sure that the team could never be reassembled, and he asked what it would take to keep me. She said, and she goes, things were happening at a dizzying pace. It was hard to know what to do or where to turn. So she didn't have a lawyer, she didn't have legal, so she had to go with Howard's attorneys, right? Well, she told him, this is how much money. Well, he responded, you're certainly not the little girl who walked into my office a year ago, are you? Okay. And then where is it? Okay, so I never at the bottom of the page. I'd never thought in forever terms, but I wasn't ready for this amazing period of my life to end. Yet all the signs told me that it was over. Howard had a contract with those awful people in NBC, and I had this major money offer from our enemy in DC. What more was it going to take to convince me that the Wild Bunch was really breaking up? Wild Bunch, all this horse shit. Basically, I think it was either out of spite or that Goff dude thought she's still useful. She still has some type of value, I suppose.
I would think so, or he wanted to stick it to Howard maybe and not let her go.
Yeah.
But why does she say here he wasn't supposed to say okay? Well, that doesn't mean New York is still going to want you just because he makes you a crappy offer. What does that have to do with anything?
Well, like getting basically what she's going to overprice herself, like overshoot her hand, overplay her hand, and he's going to say no, fuck it. So she's free to go to NBC, and who's to say that they're still not making you an offer?
Right. That's the point. It's like that doesn't guarantee you anything.
It doesn't make any sense. Like that's kind of
No.
like if you're bargaining, if you're asking for an outrageous amount or something, then either way they're going to try to meet you somewhere lower anyway, and then they would negotiate or whatever, and that's how it happens. But she quoted something that was completely affordable to them because they're getting rid of Howard. Like if Howard's being lost, then that salary can go to her. It's not rocket science, or some of the money
Right.
can go to her.
That's not even a negotiation. That's like you would lie and say, I have an offer from NBC. Here's what it is.
Yes.
And then you tell them that so that they'll pay you what you want. Like this, her little tactic here is like doesn't even make any
It's
sense.
retarded because if you quote a number that they meet, now you've gotten in place. You've got the basis of an agreement. You can't say no now. You can't go, oh, I meant 150.
I mean, you could, but you still don't have a job.
Yes. And like
So,
you're currently working, but the whole point is to renegotiate for a new contract. And if this is the way it's going, and your whole goal is to get them to say no, and get NBC to maybe it's to get a higher price to make NBC think that she's worth hiring. I'm not sure.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
At any rate, I have to go all the way back up to this top of this folder to the AI stuff that I made based on these things. So the next clip is really, the next one is really short. I'm not sure if that was, yeah, okay, let me try this one. I was sick and frantic.
I was sick and frantic and horrified by the tricks destiny had played on us. NBC, which had so recently seemed our savior, was tearing us apart.
Okay, the first paragraph on page 163. Why don't you read that one? It's one of the stupidest things. And also there's the quote. Should we read the quote at the top of the chapter?
Oh,
which
we
is,
must.
of course, attributed
We
to her.
must.
Who else?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Shortly after I started working in Washington, my old married lover, Bradley, resurfaced. Now he was divorced with a son and had returned to reclaim the love of his life. Robin, he declared, I'm taking you to Atlanta. Oh, Bradley, I answered. If I move anywhere, I'm moving to New York. Oh, God.
Oh, do you know what those are? I've just realized it. Do you remember okay, you remember Harlequin romances, right?
Yes.
How thin they were. They were like what,
Mhm.
170 pages or something like that. Almost like
Yeah.
the same size as Choose Your Own Adventures. And then but then there were the thicker ones that were like the Fabio type with the more ornate covers. Either way,
Yeah.
on the back of the book, there's just like this in italics. There's there's the plot of the story, and then there's some sample dialogue. This reminds me of the sample dialogue italicized to make you
Oh,
like hook you into the style of the book.
of course. This is all Robin's created fantasy right
Yeah,
here. I
right.
guarantee you none of this shit happened.
No,
She probably called him Bradley. Oh, Bradley.
what are you up to?
Remember? I know. What you doing, Bradley?
Yeah.
And do you remember the one little intro where I had a dream I was
Oh yeah,
standing on the stage.
yeah. Of course.
Bitch.
What was the comment? What was the comment you made in one of the recent episodes?
Oh,
What was it exactly? It made me
was
laugh.
it where you said you were wait, that I recorded or I
You no
posted
no
or I
you were just
commented?
you were commenting, yeah, on somewhere on Patreon.
Oh, because somebody, I think it was you said, bitch, shut up and read the script or something. And I just commented that. And I said, Fillmore said that to me once.
I never. I just know that's one of your favorite words of mine
It
too.
is.
When it's used correctly, it's not like
Exactly.
in gangster rap, it's overused. So the following clips, guys, that you're hearing are all AI based on the audio. I made a bunch of these, and I wanted to fill in the blanks because in chapter 12 is the whole like. The mini. There's a clip I must have missed because it says here, as it became clearer and clearer that everything I'd worked for was crashing down around me, I started having mini panic attacks, and so mini panic attacks. People who get this, it's anxiety, obviously, but you don't recall her talking about panic attacks ever again, don't you? Isn't that to the best of your recollection? Starring John discussed it about himself, but not Robin.
Not that I can recall, but I wouldn't say 100%. I don't know, but I don't recall her ever talking about it.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
so
Mm-mm.
they often occurred just as I was settling in for the night. As soon as I was comfortably ensconced between the sheets, who fucking says that? With my
Nobody.
head on the pillow, I'd close my eyes and search for sleep. Instead, the sound of my own heart pounding in my chest kept me awake. It wasn't just that I noticed it. The beating was so loud, I couldn't ignore it. I could be awake for hours listening to it. In the days to come, I would begin to fear that my heart would actually stop from the strain of beating so hard and so
Oh, fuck.
furiously. Fuck off.
She's Edgar Allan Poe. And they're
She's
like-
Edgar Allan Poe. Okay, so let me see. I don't know that one. I was sick and frantic. Okay, I was sick and frantic. The next clip continues. I called this one the Three Musketeers.
Just days ago, like the Three Musketeers, we had been celebrating Howard's contract as the harbinger of good times for all of us. Now it looked as if just one of the Musketeers was going to claim the glory we'd fought to win together. And as time went on, I began to feel that one Musketeer was running off with all the spoils and didn't give a damn about the injustice of it all.
Okay. So why don't you read the next paragraph?
Goff had already begun his search for Howard's replacement. I'd had my participation in the selection of my future partner written into the new contract. So the weekend after we'd made the deal, Goff invited me to dinner at his favorite restaurant, Trader Vic's, to meet a prospect from out of town.
So that's interesting. She has basically she has say on who she gets to work with when they're hiring. That's a pretty big perk.
Yeah, it sounds like she had a great contract.
Yep.
I mean, $1 million, what was it? 1.5
so
million?
like 1.5, like in today's dollars, 1.5 million over 5 years, so 300,000 a year.
Yeah, I mean, they're treating it like it's her show. If she has all that money, she has a say in who is going to come and join her.
Sure,
I mean,
leverage.
they're kind of moving her up a little bit.
I think so, and maybe they thought she could host a show, and this would be her sidekick or whatever. But no, they're saying Howard's replacement, so they're looking for a new morning guy. But if they had that kind of money to throw on a sidekick, that's a lot of money for radio, isn't it?
I think so. Back then.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Right at the front door of the place, Goff crassly started throwing his money and his weight around, calling the maitre d' by his first name and demanding his favorite waiter. He verbally abused everyone, then tried to compensate for the abuse with lavish tips. The waiters and the busboys just smiled and endured him. At least they got to come and go. I had to sit there all evening. Goff was a big drinker, and the more alcohol he consumed, the fouler his mouth became. Dinner hadn't even arrived, and I had already lost my appetite. There was little doubt in my mind that 5 years of Goff would drive me way over the edge. Well, okay, but we don't hear about this until after you've, agreed in principle to a new contract?
That's exactly what I was about to say. She didn't say any of this beforehand.
No.
It's like she is already setting up her exit. Like
this is going to be hell on earth if I have to deal with this lunatic. But he was fine to work with before.
What do you want to bet? And I do not know this, so I'll be curious if I'm right. What do you want to bet she's going to quit and not have another job?
Well, the well, this is the thing. She seems to stumble into jobs one way or the other during this whole falling sideways into other work, opportunities, which, let's be honest, today you'd be blessed if that happened to you. Where you casually just depart from work and find other work elsewhere. It's that easy, I mean, I've read it. I remember it. I've covered this now. This is the second time covering the book, so I know exactly what happens. But the word stumble, I use that deliberately because there is no design. She's going to have you believe this is the yellow brick road and she's Dorothy, but there is no there's no calculated plan to use this as leverage to get another thing somewhere else. The only parts that are calculated is when she deliberately quits any place to get a job somewhere else.
God, she's insane.
Yeah.
She just sounds like an well, she doesn't sound like it. She is. She's just this emotionally over the top, makes all her decisions based on emotion. And none of this happened. I don't think any of this happened at the restaurant.
So prepare for the next one, guys. This is more bullshit. It's called 3 Weeks of Silent Robin Must Be What Heaven Is Like.
I was stymied. NBC didn't want me, so in a matter of months, Howard and Robin would be history. Goff was offering me close to $500,000 over 5 years, but that didn't make him any less despicable to me. So what did I do? What any reasonable hysteric would under these circumstances. I collapsed. I lost my voice and missed over 3 weeks on the air. Goff began to get antsy. He must have assumed that I was faking the whole thing because he ordered me to get a doctor's note.
Why don't you finish that
You
sentence?
were?
Why don't you
You
finish the
were?
paragraph?
So I ended up in one of those stupid paper gowns with my butt hanging out, listening to a medical verdict that I didn't want to hear. Oh,
Okay, so what do you mean listening to a medical verdict that I didn't want to hear? It was contingent on you getting a doctor's note. You do have to listen to it. You have to be fully aware of these things.
and she's the one that said she
You're sick.
collapsed
Yeah.
and lost her voice and all this shit. So what is she talking about? She doesn't want to hear.
Do you
If
know
she's sick, she's sick.
do you know anybody in your life who has lost their voice for 3 weeks?
No, I do not. I've
I mean,
lost mine, and it's been for like, I don't know, probably 3 days
yeah.
total. But of course, the front end, the back end, it's like not awesome. But no, 3 weeks? Mm-mm.
It's not at the. I've met like, willfully mute kids that will just like they were behaviorally, like sort of stunted, I guess, and they're purposefully not speaking. Not they lost their voice.
Robin is behaviorally stunted. She is pitching a fucking fit because she didn't get her way.
Yeah.
She didn't get a job offer at NBC, so she's pitching a fucking fit. So she puts on this act that she's sick. She's not. She's over there, like, probably throwing dishes and who the fuck knows what she's doing in her little apartment. And sitting there trying to say that and blame it all on this guy that he's so terrible. Well, then why the
Right.
fuck did you work there for all those years before?
And why are you collapsing when you're being offered this amazing deal?
'Cause she didn't get her way to go to
Well,
NBC.
I
Like,
suppose
she's a brat.
this is so. I mean, also this is the line that made me laugh. What did I do? What any reasonable hysteric would do. By the way, under these circumstances, like reasonable hysteric. Do these words go together?
No, and with that sentence, she is calling herself a hysterical woman.
Yeah,
Like
a lunatic.
a lunatic. She just referred to herself. If that was a Freudian slip, maybe because she is a lunatic.
I guess.
What any reasonable hysteric would do under these circumstances.
Yeah.
So you're insane. So what any reasonable act an insane person would make, that's what she did. Okay.
Well, the next one, we're going to have one more audio clip, then we have an article to read, guys, and we're going to thank Cormano in advance for this one. The next clip, guys, is called Crumbling Under the Pressure of Fat.
As it became clearer and clearer that everything I'd worked for was crashing down around me, I started having mini panic attacks. Then I collapsed. I lost my voice and missed almost 3 weeks on the air. As the doctor explained it, I was a mess physically as well as emotionally. The strain of all the fighting over the past years had sent me right to the refrigerator, and my pounding heart was caused by high blood pressure. The doctor told me that if I didn't lose weight, stop smoking, and calm down in a month, he'd be forced to put me on medication that I would have to take for the rest of my life. Here I was, not even 30, and my body was falling apart. My heart was beating out of my chest. I couldn't sleep, and I was addicted to nicotine. Yep, definitely crumbling under the pressure.
She also said when she got home, she completely broke down in tears. Again, it's such a minimal line. Why not include it? I don't understand the fucking edits here.
I don't either.
So, and she's making it sound like she's a crack addict or she's on heroin, addicted to nicotine. Like, whoa.
I know. I mean,
Like,
no, I get it. Like, it's hard to quit. I get that. I mean,
yeah.
I never smoked. I'm glad I didn't because from what I hear, it's fucking hard, like, to stop. So I get all that, but everything about her is so dramatic and
Yep.
so she's such a nothing, honestly, when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
She makes everything a big deal, although she is a something when it comes to being a nut.
Yeah.
Out of
And
her mind.
well, this is it. So there's the next two paragraphs on page 165 at the top. Why don't you take the first one and I'll do the second one.
After I reported back to Goff, I asked for some time off to take care of myself. I called Allison and asked for her advice. She and Howard were very into transcendental meditation, which I had studied while trying to figure out what to do with myself in the Air Force. I took her advice and signed up for a refresher course. For the next 2 weeks, I meditated, dieted, and quit smoking. I even put on a jogging suit, deciding to start an exercise program with a good brisk walk. My circulatory system was in such rotten shape that my legs immediately began to swell. Within 15 minutes of leaving my apartment, I was back, lying on the floor, clutching my knees to my chest and crying in pain.
What the fuck? Could you, it sounds like she tried like rock climbing, and then like
Walking.
walking does this. You must have been
Right.
700 pounds, bitch.
I know.
Fucking hell. And I put on a jogging suit. How much material would that consist of? Now the thing is, okay, so there's that. First of all, so much to take away in that paragraph. I called Allison and asked for her advice. Allison, Howard's fucking wife. You don't
Right.
have a single friend that you can call.
Mhm.
Not
Yep.
one.
Nope. She
Okay.
wormed her way into their marriage,
Yep.
like latched on like a fucking barnacle.
Yep.
God, Allison was like, Howard, this bitch.
Well,
is crazy.
she's definitely a pick me person.
Mhm.
But so much comes with the dinner, pardon the expression, that she would eat. That I don't like this kind of person. Oof. It's almost like an inverse proportion. The amount that they need to be picked
Mhm.
is the exact amount of information you need upon meeting them that would tell you run for the hills. Don't get anywhere near this
Yeah.
person. Like desperation is
Ugh.
palpable. Like you can see it, you could feel it, you could hear it.
Mhm.
It's one of those things that it hits you in the face. It's that obvious.
Yes, I just am sitting here thinking how fucking exhausting she had to be on every level. Every level.
Well, there's that, and it's just again, she's written the book, written the book, and I think she narrated it personally. I have a hard time believing she typed all this out herself.
No.
I think she recorded it and had it transcribed, just like Howard, because I don't imagine she had the will or the desire or the I'm going to say
No, like the dedication to sit in
dedication needed
front.
to long form write
Yeah.
this all out or type this all out on a
Mm-mm.
word processor and go for it.
No
Um,
way.
so I'll read the next one. I had no idea just how much of a mess my body had become. As a nurse, I'd been on my feet running for 8 hours at a stretch. If I'd gained a few pounds, I'd lose them by adding a few more trips to the utility room. 2 years of sitting around on my butt talking had taken its toll. But I vowed to make a comeback. I bought support hose to wear under my jogging suit. So like
Mm.
Spanx.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
okay.
Compression hose,
Yeah. Then I
socks.
slowly started to work up to a mile a day walk.
My God, lady.
But wait, a mile a day, if that's fucking knocking you on your ass, she must have had zero muscle tone, zero like physical exertion every
She
day. Like
had
she must have been like
had
this
to have.
one of the 600-pound sisters.
But for real, like the
Honestly.
same physicality of
Yeah,
one of
but
those.
by the time I returned to the doctor's office, I had lost 10 pounds, given up cigarettes, and my blood pressure was normal. So in 2 weeks, she lost 10 pounds? She must have just starved herself.
I guess so. Or she was so full of water weight that like not eating all that ice cream, she
Well,
dropped it.
here's the thing. So keep in mind, guys, almost 3 weeks of losing, quote unquote, losing her voice. So she's not at work for those 3 weeks. Then she asked for 2 more weeks off based on whatever. Like I need an extra 2 weeks. So 5 weeks of the year off. Who gets that?
Nobody.
Medical or not. And I don't know about the union situation. I don't think she was union. But this is we're going to go into the article. Guys, the next bit is the aforementioned article from the Washington Times. Okay. So this is the article. It says, okay, now left. Okay, she instead of signing, Robin goes AWOL. She disappears for weeks due to stress-related illness. She returns ready to put pen to paper. However, the station manager was so irritated by her disappearing act that he'd already used the funds to sign the grease man instead. So Robin loses her job. The grease man gets probably her money and his money because this is a guaranteed, a bona fide replacement for Howard. Now left with nothing, Robin takes her frustrations out on Howard. She's convinced he had no real intention of bringing her to New York in the first place and that he'd been stringing her along. Feeling betrayed, Robin stops talking to Howard. When he asks for an explanation, she types out a letter accusing him of being a racist, among other things. She reaches out to her contacts in Baltimore and gets an offer from a news talk station. She puts in her 2 weeks' notice and quits the Stern show before they finish up in Washington. After her departure, she's approached by the Washington Times and gives the following interview announcing Howard Stern is dead to her. So I'm just going to zoom this a bit and that we can both read. Is this big enough for you to read?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So Quivers gets the last laugh after all. June 30th, 1982. Dennis John Lewis is the author, and it's from the Washington Times. So why don't you start with the first two paragraphs?
Robin Quivers is laughing again. Yes, that natural laugh that brightened many mornings on album rocker DC 101 and made morning Madam Howard Stern seem
Madman.
less offensive.
Although Madam is
Madman.
good too.
You know I have a disability.
Madam is good. I like it. It's more appropriate.
Will it fit?
Yeah.
Seem less offensive and more tolerable has returned.
Yes.
She got the laugh back after leaving Howard Stern and DC 101 for what she believes is more satisfying straight news reporting. Now Quivers will be pounding the city streets for Baltimore's News Talk 68. That's WCBM AM, which switched from middle of the road format on Monday.
You know what? That's funny. I read, you read that and it said she will be pounding the city streets. I meant, you mean walking?
Right.
And also, this is one of the jokes of the article. It'll double at the end. It kind of falls back into it, but it says she leaving Howard Stern and DC 101. She was let go.
Mm-hmm.
Like her contract ran out basically. They're going to have it as if she walked away triumphantly, you know.
No, she didn't.
No, the whole Robin impression at Kick-Ass DC 101 AM and FM has ended, but listeners remember. They recall the good girl role who decried Stern's bad taste humor and said either, "Oh, Howard," or "Oh, really?" representing the reaction of the audience, and the way her role shifted into an appreciation for Stern's act and a certain naughtiness for her own on-air persona. Her news personality role is adding little asides that she'd never dare these days. Her clever comedy foil for Stern's outrageous opinions and obnoxious behavior, and snappy and informative street talk, quote, features on the station. And there you go.
It's all a thing of the past, and that is plainly the way Robin Quivers wants it. And yes, there are hard feelings directed towards the morning man Stern. Offered a free copy of the Washingtonian magazine that features Stern on the cover, she neither wants it nor even has the chance to look at it.
One sec. I want to take a look and see, because he's posted a link. Let's see what it looks like. The cover of the Washingtonian.
What is that? Ew.
It says here, the devilish Howard Stern. Oh God, we're going to have to make this the Photoshop. Hold on, let me see.
My God, you don't even have to Photoshop it.
Fuck,
You can
that's
use it.
perfect.
It's so
Thank
ugly.
you so much. God, the Washingtonian. Okay, get rid of that. That's funny. Okay, so.
God, that's ugly.
All right.
Asked if she's bitter, Quivers repeats the question and speaks seriously. Well, let's put it this way. If it were possible to make sure that no one ever again asked me about Howard Stern or my year and a half at DC 101, then yes, I'd want that to happen.
Ooh, not exactly the can't wait to get back with Howard. Quivers wants that to happen, she says, not because she didn't enjoy it or learn a lot while there, but simply because it ended on a very bitter note. The bitter note was that she and Stern didn't talk to each other off the air for the past 2 months. Do you recall this in the book? Anything
No,
about this?
That's interesting.
right? She complains that Stern showed a lack of respect for her as a professional broadcaster. When you say something, as I did, and discover that your mic's been turned off because Howard controls it, it's a sure sign that he doesn't like something you're doing. Isn't that amazing that in, okay, 82, 92, 2002, like 40 years later, more than 40 years later, he's shutting off her mic. He's closing her mic down.
Mm-hmm.
Now it makes sense, but
Right. So
that
how
isn't in the
does-
book either way. By the way, she doesn't mention he shut down her mic.
Mm-mm. No. So
Do you believe
what
this or do you
happened
believe the
here?
book? Like which is it?
I believe this.
Yeah.
Because this was written by somebody else who had a conversation with her at the time where
Mhm.
she wasn't putting on some show. She was in the middle of being pissed and crazy, and
Yep.
she was talking. That's why this came out the way it did, because she was being honest about how she was feeling.
Mhm.
This bullshit in the book, she's basically whitewashing everything to her narrative to make it sound better.
Well, and you're like, if you really, my point is, if she's really going to, like, later on, it'll says, oh, I made up stories about him being a racist. You don't. There's nothing to make up. He's a racist.
Right. And
Yeah.
he proved it. Like everybody heard it.
And you're the shill. Like you're the, I hate to say it, but you're the Uncle Tom on the show saying, yeah, boss, you knows it, massa, you got it. Like basically you're the one like giving him all the ammunition he needs to continue this and stay free of not free of controversy, but free of culpability. Because how could he be racist with a black person on staff?
Right. She
That's-
was the pass.
Yeah. So it says, it continues here. The first time he shut off my mic, we had a fight on the air. Quivers, well, it says Quiver. Quivers says, we had an open relationship until then. That fight ended the friendship. And that was 2 months ago. She talks about how she was silent to him off the air because of something he said about women.
Mhm.
That's the way she explained it. And that
Yes.
she had to have like a heart to heart with him whenever explained, or she realized, if it didn't bother me, why should it, like if it's not affecting me, he's not talking about me, he's talking about women, other women.
Right. And then
Why should suddenly it doesn't apply to me?
Yeah, so
I'm not a woman.
so now right, and he was genuinely sorry.
Right.
So now all right, is that timed with this what we're reading right now?
Well, let me just make sure of this because there's the I have to make sure that these are correct in the way of hold on.
Because if it is, this would explain why she had her little meltdown and didn't go to work for 5 weeks. Because she was pitching a fit.
Okay, page 153. Let me see. I'll just go back to it because you do have to kind of go back and forth with some of the horse shit when the lies are being juggled in the air so obviously. Okay. The page 152. Because of my hypersensitivity, there were occasions on the air when I couldn't help thinking that Howard was attacking me personally. They usually occurred while he was making some broad generalization about women. All he'd have to do is say something like women are stupid to set off my alarms. Next paragraph on page 152. I couldn't keep my mind off the show after a statement like that. I finally got so angry I stopped speaking to him off the air. I was very professional on the show. No one could detect anything. There's nothing in there. I was surprised one day, this is the second last paragraph on the same page, when introducing the news, Howard announced to the world that he and I had a problem. He confessed to the audience that I hadn't talked to him for several days. So it's not months, it's days.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And there's nothing in here. Like she just said, we went to dinner with Howard and Fred at a Chinese restaurant, and that flies in the face of this article.
Right. So I think she fixed it all in the book where it
Yes.
doesn't look so bad, but
Yes.
she pitched a fucking fit. This
Yep.
was part of it. This article got it right in the middle of it.
Yep.
Or afterwards, once she got let go from the show, and this was her afterwards seething about it.
Yeah.
So, oh God.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it's so the first time, so
Yeah.
it says That fight, the first time he shut off my mic, we had a fight on the air. She says we had an open relationship until then. That fight ended the friendship, and that was 2 months ago. So no mention of that whatsoever in the book. But you go to a
Mm-mm.
newspaper and feature it in
Mm-mm.
there. You don't put it in a paper in a press article unless you want it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is she lying about that? We don't know, but you guys decide for yourself. It sounds more likely that the article is the truth, not the book.
Right, I agree. Because the
Um,
article, she didn't write it, so it
no,
came out the way
right,
it was.
right. So the next part, and I'll take the next one, and you can get the next two. Quivers felt that she couldn't go to station management with the problem since they had a notoriously bad relationship with Howard. I felt I was in the middle since I had to work with both sides, but I just couldn't resolve it. Yeah, why don't you continue?
Howard recalls things differently. Praising Quivers as a super talent, he says he can't remember having a fight with her over closing her microphone. I just don't know why she didn't want to talk with me. I was unaware of it, closing her mic, if that happened. All I can say is I'm sorry I did it, if I did it. If she's
Narc.
Mhm. Yep. If she's been asked once, she's been asked hundreds of times. What is Howard Stern really like? I'd have to say I don't know. He's definitely a very creative and talented radio personality, but he isn't good to work with.
Oh, Jesus. Man, like this is like
Mm,
mm-mm-mm.
mhm.
She knows she knows Kayla's shifting her head, and you know exactly the move because you heard the sound. She knows there were many moments during the daily shows when listeners had reason to believe Stern was irritating her personally. Quivers insists that wasn't the case. I know that's what they think, but I always looked upon the show as an act, and I never thought of what he was saying as being what he really thinks. The fox with the facts, as DC 101 listeners know her, has no bitterness about the fact that she isn't going to New York's WNBC AM on August 1st with Stern. I never thought there was a one-way ticket to New York for me. Not at any time did I think that. Huh?
That's
Okay.
interesting.
She recalls there were days when Howard told her that she and Earth Dog Fred Norris would be going and suggested some good places to live. So that there in the article is suggesting that he strung them along.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I could see him stringing them along because he
Sure.
wouldn't want to say,
Well,
no,
yeah.
you're not coming.
You
Like
you
he
sh- you
couldn't.
shine them on because like it's like the Howard TV staff. I don't know if I'm
Hmm.
re-signing. I'm not sure. We'll see
Yep.
about this.
Same
It's
thing.
it's all about control. Okay,
Hmm.
controlling the narrative, controlling the person's fate, and ultimately what it became at Sirius, controlling people's money and their lives.
Yes. Yep.
So when he says
Exactly.
he's the puppet master, he's not lying.
Mm-mm. No, he's really not. And he's
All
got all these people doing his bidding for him.
because it's got to be some type of there, even though he doesn't get enjoyment per se, there's got to be some perverse pleasure he gets in more or less controlling the strings, like
Hmm.
as literally as possible with people's lives. That like eventually the real puppets don't become fun anymore. You have to expand that and become a controller of multiple like dozens of people. Now,
Hmm.
it probably has it pissed him off that he has, they claim they have a staff of 70 or 80, but we all know that's horseshit. They have a staff of like, I don't know, a dozen at this point. And then all those extra people are, freelance. So you wouldn't, if you had a thousand freelance reporters for Rolling Stone magazine at one point, it doesn't mean you have 1,000 employees. It means you
No.
have a
Uh-uh.
thousand sources upon which to draw resources from. That's it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
He because I find myself sometimes thinking, how the hell did she get a job with him again after all this bullshit? Because she's crazy. And
What-
he likes crazy because he knows that no matter what he does, she's going to be right there, right back, wanting to come back, and she's not going to leave.
Do you believe he would have been as big as he was without her? I don't.
No, because whatever we say about any of them individually, there was something with them all together.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like I I don't think probably any of them would have been as successful without the other.
Hmm.
It's just something about I say the three of them because they're the core.
Yeah.
Um, Something about them coming together really did create something. I mean, it just did. And so, that's why we're all here in the
What do they
first
call it?
place.
Kismet?
Yeah, yeah. And I believe it. So there was something to it.
Yeah, I think you can get, and I think, and I'm going to sound like an arrogant asshole here, guys. I think what we have at QF works because of the people involved, because of the people that I asked to help out and to be
Hmm.
co-hosts and to do their own things when necessary and
Hmm.
when desired, and picking people that I feel are going to be good and understanding that, like, if a person's personality works, why wouldn't their voice work as well? And even if their voice maybe isn't the greatest, or they feel they're, are not, then there's something about the content of what they're saying that's got some validity
Right.
and interesting to, and then from there on, you build whatever a synergy and make it work. Just incidentally, guys, I should mention that Bob D will, or Dr. Bob, as some of you guys call it, has, we've been keeping in touch again. Like, we're back, or super never we're not in touch, but his life is getting a little easier now, and so he says he's going to be good to record again in the near future. So it'd be great to have him
Good.
back for some episodes and some maybe
Yeah.
sagas and stuff that we're going to do. But it was really crazy for a long time, so now it's getting to a more manageable level. And his birthday just recently, so send him some belated wishes if you didn't already catch him during his day. Sorry, back to the topic at hand, though. Yeah, I don't think I think they would have all they would have all achieved a modicum of like a career on
Hmm.
radio separately, but
Sure.
nothing like they did all together.
Mm-mm. No, I agree. I mean, it was just something about it came together. It's not that they did anything that hadn't already been done. It's not, they didn't create radio or a morning show or any of that shit. But there was something about all of them coming together that created this thing that
Yeah,
resonated with people, and people liked it.
think of it as a sports team. Like there are previous sport teams that become successful. Then later on, as time passes, of course, people retire. Then someone replaces them that's, as talented or nearly as talented, whatever, and they have success. No different. Get teams together and stuff, things change. But this article would suggest a very, very bitter person,
Hmm.
like really
I,
bitter with the way things went. And this is how
mhm.
you don't do an article like this unless you want it to get to Howard and lash out at him.
Oh, for sure. She was pitching a fit. She was being passive aggressive
Yeah.
because she wanted him to know how she felt about it, and she knew that article would get in front of him.
Hmm.
And also, she was pissed and she was
Yes.
bitter. So it was coming out right here, and I do feel she was being honest in this. This book
Okay.
is bullshit.
Okay. So why don't you continue from she did.
She did feel bad about leaving earlier this month. I felt a lot of sadness because I thought there were moments when we were really great. I have no reluctance to say we worked very well together.
Hmm.
A
But she just
former
said
nurse.
he's not good to work with.
Right.
Worked very well together, not good to work with. I mean, they are separate. Like, you could say that we were talented, like we did good work together, but
Well,
she
maybe
didn't want to say he's an asshole.
right. So,
Yeah,
right. So maybe, all right. So now I get it. So maybe she's just saying, yeah, when we're in the room together, we're on air, it works.
it
But
works.
off air, he's a son of a bitch and I can't stand him.
Right, exactly. Why don't you continue? Why don't you continue the next two?
A former nurse, Quivers has had less than a year's experience in radio when she joined the station the same time as Stern in March 1982. Previously, she was a radio newswoman in Harrisburg and Baltimore. Quivers, 29, does not consider DC 101 her big break in broadcasting. I'd say it was a detour. As I told Howard, my own goals were consistently news oriented and not personality oriented. She says that after her first 3 months with Stern, she had wanted to leave and only agreed to stay because Stern was willing to think of her as a partner. He said to me, Oh, yes, we're a team. I've been looking for people I can really work with all my life. I think he meant it at the time. Looking back on that moment, she agrees that she hitched her wagon to a star. She laughs again. Yeah, and then I get left behind.
Jesus Christ. Informed that Stern had complimented her on the air since she left, Quivers shows the merest trace of a smile. Well, it's nice to know he's sad. He would have never told me those things in person. Isn't that telling?
Mm-hmm.
Summing it all up, Quivers says flatly, it's over and it should be. We are officially divorced and the exes are not on friendly terms. This is not it's approached in the book, but the way it's couched in the book, as we won't get into it. I don't believe we'll get right to that point today. We'll start in the next episode, I think. She makes it sound like in my rage, like my unnatural or like my rage at the time, which wasn't me. That was my rage talking. I stomped on his face and I did all this and I accused him of this, but it was all performative, as if she didn't really feel that way, distancing herself from culpability and responsibility for this article or things like it.
Yes.
That's the way the book comes off. This just comes off like a human being pissed because you're left in the dirt.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I feel it was.
Yep. Although Stern's show reaches Baltimore and draws a big audience, there's one listener who won't be tuned in. No, I'm listening to Baltimore radio these days, says Quivers. Baltimore is her hometown, and she likes being elbow to elbow with local newsmakers there. DC 101 offered her more money than her present job will pay, but she declined. Right. The offer would have kept her in the 8th largest radio market. In Baltimore, she will have a lower profile in the 14th largest radio market. But the lady knew what she wanted. Out. The offer at DC 101 was to again be a member of a team. I had fun being a member of this particular team, but I have no desire to be part of another. I loved it. So Robin, acting like queen shit, like she had her pick of whatever. She didn't have the options. Like she went back because the default was always go back to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
During the 2 weeks off, I'd come to the decision that I had to sign Goff's contract. It was the only way I was going to reap any of the benefits of the success the Howard Stern show had achieved in Washington. But when I went into his office and told him I was ready to make it official, Goff informed me that it was too late.
Just the chutzpah.
Oh,
Yeah.
bitch. The deal was off the table. I was also informed that during my time away, he'd signed someone to take Howard's place. All the boss from hell could promise me now was a chance to try out for the sidekick job. I almost laughed. Now I had nothing.
So, I mean, does this strike you as odd that someone fucks about like for 3 weeks and then says they need another 2 weeks off? Meanwhile, who's doing her position? Who's
right?
Who's working?
Exactly. And he'd had enough of her shit by this point. Like, lady, get your shit together. Now it makes sense that he was an asshole at dinner that night. And
He was probably really pissed off. Like what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, but exactly. And so she never had a problem with him really up until right now. And then like a couple paragraphs over, you realize, oh, because he fired her ass. That's why.
Exactly. To make things even more hellacious, the situation between Howard and Goff had burst into open warfare while I was at home getting better. Every morning on the air now, Howard, I just imagine her like kicking her feet up, eating, friendlies nonstop. Every morning on the air now, Howard tried to get under Goff's skin, lashing out at him for holding him to a contract where neither of them wanted to work together anymore. Again, I was caught in the middle. So this is Howard's MO, of course. Try to get yourself fired so that you could still collect a paycheck on your way to another job. He was doing the same thing at K-Rock that whole year before Sirius. Yep. Again, I was caught in the middle. I had to do the show with Howard, but I was still expected to audition for Goff's new Morning Man. This was an impossibly stressful situation, and I felt myself moving closer and closer to the breaking point. So here's the clip, guys. Hoo Hoo, Hysteria is a great album, right, Robin?
My sanity was shredding at the edges, and screaming voices of self-loathing and recrimination flooded my thoughts. I had been a complete idiot ever to trust another human being. What did I expect Howard to do when the big money offers came? Protect me? People only meant what they said when it was easy.
And the last bit, it served me right to be in this position, my nose pressed up against the glass, watching the parade pass me by.
But
Now, yeah, go ahead.
But don't you see though, like, okay, it served me right. Yeah, it did, bitch. You know why? Because you acted like a fucking nut and you got your ass fired. But
Yeah.
she doesn't see it that way. What she
No,
means is it served me right because I had trusted Howard to take care of me or take me with him, and it didn't happen. She can't even, there's no self-reflection. There's no like accountability of herself in any of this. She's
none.
still blaming everybody else.
Um, that's exactly it. And we know narcissists can't accept blame. Like just in that article, for example, that article quoted him as saying, let me go back up to the exact thing. Where is it? Okay. I just don't know why she didn't want to talk with me. I was unaware of it, closing her mic, if that happened. All I can say is, I'm sorry I did it, if I did it. Non-apology, no accountability whatsoever.
Nope.
But also on the other side, her side, not telling him something is wrong. She's just reacting. They're two peas in a fucking pod where that's
Oh
concerned.
yeah.
Non-confrontational, I got to tell you, without telling you, meta communication, off the air, through press, somebody else, a middle person telling you this. I would wring both their fucking necks.
God, I know. Could you imagine
And you're
being
stuck with this
around these
person.
two?
So they spent their this is the thing that I kind of, it hit me years and years ago. They stuck with each other for all this nothingness of a relationship. This is what they have left. Like he has Beth, but yeah, honestly, that's like saying you just got your car washed. It gets dirty the next day. You're not,
Yeah.
you don't, it's
What is
nothing, it's
she?
peripheral. It just goes away. It's just sort of
Zero
transitory.
substance.
It's transitory. And then, but you have this person that really, like you saw how he was when Ralph passed away, right? If he was as close to Ralph as people would have you believe, or he used to have you believe, why wasn't he bawling on the fucking air, remembering these things? You've heard people talk about those that have passed on the air, like, and people interview even celebs about somebody.
Yeah.
Mike
They at
Tyson.
least tear up.
Mike
I
Tyson,
mean,
every time you bring up Customato, will go like emotional because he was like a dad to him,
yeah.
right?
I mean,
Um,
and even if he didn't break down, show some kind of emotion, but he doesn't have any like that. He,
so it's like it's such, and when you realize that you've spent your life with a person like that, and you've wasted all these fucking years. Maybe, okay, you've made a lot of money, whatever, all that stuff. What did it bring you in the end? Not happiness.
mm-mm,
No.
no. Because
Like,
that's the thing about it. When you're fucking miserable, yeah, you're having a good time while you're trying to climb and get somewhere, but you're still a shitty person with like nothing in there. So when you don't have anywhere to climb anymore, you're just sitting with yourself.
right. It might be like a velvet cage, but trapped with everything you want in it, but it's still a cage. And at the end, she has
Right.
nobody. She doesn't even have family at this point. Like maybe her nephew,
Mm-mm.
maybe, but we don't hear about him anymore.
Mm-mm. You don't
She
hear
doesn't
about
talk about him.
anybody.
No.
Nobody.
No, and so, hey, guys, I'm gonna leave it right there because the rest of the stuff kind of it's the other side of the fold. So we'll go with the rest of the audio and then the makeup portion because there's a lot of stuff, also audio from the history of Howard Stern that I wanted to cut. That I know I have, but I couldn't find it for this episode. And also, we won't have enough time to put it all together unless we made this a two and a half hour episode, which we can't do. However, do you, my dear, have a dedication that fits this episode?
I do now. It's Montel Jordan. This is how we do it.
Perfect. Okay. I'm going to also in the same, not same realm, but I think Def Jam. I think on that same label, if I'm not mistaken, Public Enemy and Anthrax cover of Public Enemies do Bring the Noise because of all
Oh, that's a
their
good one.
early early stuff, guys. Thank you so much, my dear. Welcome back to recording with this. We'll also cut another one in a couple weeks to get caught up with this as well and try to get closer to the culmination of the book because there's a lot to go and a lot of good stuff still yet to go, especially with the therapy stuff. I love that because there's lots of on-air clips that again against the sort of catch the lies as they're happening in the book to show you that she changes the story years and years. Like every other year, the stories from the book change to what they were written as and what she decided they are later on. So anyway, thank you so much for listening, guys, and take care. We love you, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
You know what I mean? For a burrito?
Well, they had a problem.
I like that
They got a whole no, I knew it was
There's
out
your
there.
burrito.
I knew it was out
Go ahead, eat.
There it goes. I don't want it to get cold.
There
Thanks,
you go.
Rich.
Look who just got happy. There's my burrito. Somebody's hungry.
That's exactly right.
It's feeding time.
Put something in his fucking mouth.